Hello guys and welcome back. Thank you for joining us. In the previous lesson, we learned about the variables and what they are. We saw a few different data types that can be stored inside. We saw the integer, we saw the double, we saw the other ones, the short, the long, which are more important if you are concerned about memory, but we usually don't use them so much. We have the float. So now we're gonna see a few different ones. So we have the char, which is a short for character. This data type can store a single character. So let's call it character. So when you're assigning a character, you need to put a single quote around it. And it can be anything like lowercase a, uppercase a. It can even be a number. But this is the character 5 and not actually the value, the number 5, like here, which is 4, yeah. So these are characters, and they're all understood by the program as their symbol, but in the language of the program, we can find a very nice table. We go to Google, which is our best friend, and you write Ascii Table. And here we can see a big and scary table, but it only shows us the way the program understands the characters. So all the red ones are the characters. You see the uppercase A, B, C, the lowercase a, B, and the number that the computer gives it is the decimal number. It's 97. So A is 97. The uppercase A is 65, so the computer sees it as two different things. We also have the numbers here, and they have also different numbers, you can call them. You can also see here that if you want to write them in HTML, you have different kinds of codes to write them. But again, I'm just showing you the basic understanding of the variables, and if you want to dig in and explore, you can do it. You can search for ASCII, you can understand exactly what are they needed for. So we go back to IntelliJ. The next variable type we're gonna see is a Boolean. The Boolean can store only two values. It can store true or false. To understand it even in a better way, think about it as the electricity that goes inside of the program only understands if there is electricity and if there isn't. So eventually it comes to the code level, so it understands it as 1 and 0, or true and false. So every time we want to make a statement and check if the statement is true or not, we can use this kind of variable. But again, don't worry about it. We're gonna use it in different exercises and you're gonna see exactly how we work with it. So the next one and the last data type I'm going to show you is called a string. A string is different because you can see the first letter is uppercase, so it actually means something in Java. And a string is used to store words or sentences. So let's call it name. Again, you can call it any way you want. And as long as it's a valid way of naming, as I explained in a previous video. So here you need to use double quotes, and inside we're going to write Mike. So this is a name. This string now contains all of this, but it doesn't contain those double quotes. So it can contain one word, it can contain like a whole long sentence. And we're gonna see how it's used and how we can play with it. We can see the different uses of string because it's actually a more complex variable than the other ones, which are called primitives. So this is the string. So in the basic level, we learned the variables in Java. So if you understand it, although there's not much to understand, it's pretty simple if you think about it. You know variables. Now we're gonna see how we can do different stuff with the variables, and to do this we need to use things that are called operators, because we're gonna operate and do different stuff. So for example, if we're gonna use an int called box, and we're gonna give it the value 5, let's just erase everything here. And now we want to do something like this. We want to create even another one, call it box 2, give it a value of 2. And then we want to create another integer, and we will call it total boxes. And we're gonna assign to it box and box 2. So now what we did here, we actually took this box and we added the second box. So this box contains the values of those two variables. And before we go on, we should learn something new so we can actually test the program. So this thing is called a system out print. I'm going to do it the short way. I'm just writing s out and I'm pressing the tab key, and now we have it before us. So it's very helpful if you write it a lot of times, and you can always write it the full way, but you need to understand that as you code and as you go into further and more complex stuff, you need to make your code as small as possible and you need to work as efficient as possible. So being a good programmer means to be a lazy programmer. So you want to do as much as less as you can. I don't even know if you can say it this way. So the system out print line, it's actually a print line because we have different print types. This piece of code means that everything we're going to put inside these brackets will be printed on the screen. So let's run this. Let's put box inside. And to run the program, we can go to the class, right click it, and we run it. Then I'm going to make it a little bigger. We see 5. 5 because box equals to 5. That's the value assigned to box. So this is actually the output of our program. All the code here is going to a place, and then that's the output we see. Of course, in bigger programs and more complicated ones, we're going to see a bunch of stuff, but this is actually not important. This is the path of the package, and also this is not important. But you see, this is the 5 we inserted inside. So then if we put total boxes inside, what do you think is going to be the output? Because if total boxes is actually box plus box 2, and all of this is assigned to total boxes, as we said from right to left, then what will be the value displayed on the screen? If we run it, you see 7. Each time I need to make it bigger. 7, because 5, which is box, plus box 2, which is 2, equals 7. In the same way, we can use a different operator, which is the minus sign. We run it, and we see 3, because 5 minus 2 is 3. The same with the multiplier, but here we use this little star key, not the plus or the X like we are used to in school. And if we run it, we see 10. The other one is the division symbol. We put it inside and we see 2. But here is something interesting. Why do we see 2? If 5 divided by 2 is 2.5, why we only see 2? Because this variable, we declared it as an integer. So it means all that is stored here are going to be full numbers. So that's why we see a 2 here. If we would take this one, and this one, and we will run this program, we would see 2.5, because now 5 divided by 2 goes inside, and this is a double, and both of them are actually doubles. So a double divided by a double will be a double output, and then it goes inside. So we see 2.5. So another thing is the modulus sign. We're going to change it back to integers because I want to show you exactly what modulus does. So if we run it, we see 1. What the modulus does, actually, it searches how many times this number can enter into this number, and then it takes the leftovers, which is 1, because 2 can enter into 5 2 times, and then we have 1 leftover. So this is actually the leftovers. If we change this to 10, and this to 5, and we run the program, we see 0, because 5 enters into 10 2 times, and then there's no leftovers. So the modulus is actually very useful. We're gonna use it a lot later to check all kinds of things. And I think these are the basic operators. We have a few more operators that are gonna be more important when we use if statements and we want to check if something is bigger, smaller, and things like that. But this will be in a different lesson. Let me just give you an example. If we create a Boolean and we call it, let's see, it's big, and we say 5 is smaller than 10. And then here we put is big. What do you think is going to be the output of it? Because 5 is smaller than 10, so it's true. And also we have a little hint here. Condition 5 is always true. So if we run the program, we will see true. If we do the other way around, 5 is bigger than 10, and we run it, and we see it's going to say false, because that's a false statement. In the next lessons, we're going to use it more, and you're going to see that it can get very complicated. So, as I said, we will go through all of this in the next few lessons. So thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see the next lesson the second it comes out. Press the like button and maybe the unlike button, because if it wasn't good, I want to know. I'm just trying to make it clear and simple as it can be. And also, if you have any question, please comment. I will definitely answer, so you can ask everything about the lesson. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.